Come, he says, to me, you who labor and are heavy laden, you who are weary, you who are burdened. Those are not the people you want as your dinner guests, because those people are enormously hard work. Those people are enormously difficult to love. Those people are enormously difficult to draw out, to unpick, to untangle the complexities that make them weary and heavy laden and burdened and sore. But Jesus says that's the people he wants to invite. It's amazing. It tells you so much about the kind of Savior he really is. And it's interesting just to think about this for a moment, because the language he uses is deliberately general. We're not able to tell from this text exactly what was it that burdened these people, what was it that oppressed them and made them feel they were heavy laden, made them feel that they were somehow or another yoked to something that was uncomfortable and irritating and caused friction and distress. We can speculate what it was with these people. Can speculate that they are socially oppressed. They're under Roman domination. That they're oppressed by taxation and by tax collectors. We can speculate on that. And that they are burdened because they are conscious that they cannot live up to the law of God, never mind the Pharisees' interpretations of the law of God. And I can imagine in our world, people might read a passage like that and say, well, that was fine for them, but it's no longer fine in our society because we have got rid of the law of God. But as you remember, the Apostle Paul points out on more than one occasion when he's writing to Gentiles who do not have the law of God, his basic response to them is, you may not have the written law of God, but you cannot escape having been created as the image of God. And so long as you're the image of God, created to function according to the law of God, then there will manifest itself in your life the same kind of weariness, the same kind of burden, because of what the scriptures call your sin and your iniquity, your transgression, your rebellion, or what you may experience as your failure. And it's interesting, isn't it, when people have the integrity, as some academics have had, to bring out the statistics that result from our throwing away the law of God, and all the energy and the expense that now goes into teaching young people who have no sense of who they are, because they've never been reared in the undergirding significance of being created as the image of God, for the joy of God, for the presence of God, and for the glory of God. Every single substitute that our Western governments put in its place, you can be anything you want. You are a prince, you are a princess. Billions in the Western world spent on raising people out of their sense of failure and simply accelerating their sense of failure. I rather suspect there has not been so much self-harming in the Western world since there were monks living in monasteries seeking to deal with their sinfulness by self-harming. And while the world knows it by other names, it's exactly what Jesus is speaking about here. And if you think of the order of these messages this morning, you can see the coherence of this, that there is no other one in whom dignity can be restored, from whom burdens that we feel can be taken away than the one who is meek and lowly in heart and who is able to give us rest for our souls, from our sense of failure, from our sense of guilt. This is a wound our society cannot heal, and the more the individual and the society seeks to heal it by its self-inventions, the worse it makes the wound. The harder becomes the yoke to bear. And our grandchildren will rise to say that we cannot bear this burden that our grandparents and parents have placed upon us. So it really means something special to us to be Christians in this world, to know that Jesus is the light of the world, that Jesus alone is the one in whom true truth can be found, and to whom we can come because he invites those who are burdened and heavy laden to come to him. He will give us rest.